Good morning everybody, welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. I hope you're all doing great. Welcome to this new video this morning on Ethereum, which unfortunately broke down. Alright, Ethereum was holding on relatively well. I mean, yesterday when we made the video, we were still holding the 7-day rolling VWAP. We had already lost the value area high, so there was a bit of a bad sign. But then yesterday with the bearish pressure, Thursday was already a day with quite a lot of bearish pressure. But then that continued over the course of Friday, obviously fueled by news, fueled by fundamentals. And then whereas the Asian session, as we've spoken about before, for Ethereum is usually quite good. At the start of the Asian session today, we also got some bad news, or at least some more news regarding the aluminum and steel tariffs. So that pushed prices down lower. Now, ultimately, if you compare Ethereum to something like XRP, to something like Solana, to something like Doge, right, the other majors, Ethereum is still holding on relatively well. I would even say compared to Bitcoin, it's not doing too bad. I mean, you can take a look at the ETH BTC right here. Obviously, last week we had a bit of a surge with quite a lot of leverage coming into Ethereum. And we're still trading higher than what we were last week, Saturday, right? So that's ultimately not too bad. However, what this means for Ethereum, and that's compared to the breakout we had over the course of last week, it's obviously a bearish development because we've broken down below the or back into balance, right? Whereas we were holding above that balance on Thursday still. But alright, that's the situation right now. Alright, we have a failed breakout here, not only above the balance that we're in, but also above the yearly rolling VWAP. We've left behind some imbalances here towards 2675. So that creates a bit of a magnet for prices to gravitate to that level. But at this point in time, given the fundamentals and given the strength with which we have dropped back down into balance, I wouldn't suspect that, all right? It's the weekend in general, so I do not expect that much movement in general at all. But ultimately getting up there would require a lot of movement and a lot of strength, which we do not have. Now, Ethereum fell back down. We've left no major imbalances with that drop we had over the course of yesterday. We've dropped back down below the POC right here. If we're talking about the market, aka Bitcoin is at major supports. It's at supports that, frankly, has to hold. But we're not getting that much of a strong reaction from that. And talking about those fundamentals again, fundamentally there is some instability. So that's why Ethereum is in balance. I see no reason to suspect we're going to break down below balance, but I do think we'll drop down lower in that balance, right? We have the value area low right here at 2460. We have a POC that we haven't touched at 2400. We have the 30-day rolling VWAP at 2420. We have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame at 2370. I would suspect that we also have the 12-hour trend there. Yeah, 12-hour trend is at 2440. So I would say it's most likely right now that, yeah, maybe over the course of the weekend we'll see some recovery, but that we are going to test those levels down there. And for now, I think those levels will hold, right? So like I said, I see not enough reasons to suspect that Ethereum is going to break down below balance. So I would say, you know, maybe some shakeout shenanigans, great words, down here, but ultimately I do think we'll return back up to 2600. But this is, like, getting this move is very dependent on the fundamentals, right? And if the fundamentals remain as what they were yesterday, but also going into the weekend with the tariffs and just in general increased tensions, trade related at least, you know, getting a move like this is going to be difficult. But for now, I will say that I think it's most likely. So short term, well, very short term, getting some sort of recovery back up possibility, but short term I expect us to drop down into the lows of the balance right here, where we have some major support, which I expect to hold, and then from there I think we can get a move back up to 2600. But especially that move back up to 2600, I'll keep you updated on that. But for now, at least, that's what I think you need to know regarding Ethereum. So that's it. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, of course, and bye.